here at Welton, Arizona today. It's come up to do a little hike here at Antelope Hill. This is a Indian quarry from the past that is the biggest sandstone Indian quarry in the West. So it was a neutral site for tribes to come and get sandstone to make their grinding stones and tools for grinding seeds and stuff for flour. So we're gonna head up and see some petroglyphs. So just off into the trail here, we've got our first petroglyph. It's a circle. So here at Antelope Hill, we're about a quarter of the way up. As you can see, looking at petroglyphs and get you a view of the Gila River here. Gila River. We're about 38 miles east of Yuma, Arizona, overlooking the hill here. We're now looking towards Yuma that way. So this is to the north. This is the Gila River floodplain. That old steel bridge there. And of course Phoenix is that way to the east. So here's some more. As you can see, there's a snake. And it looks like a person. And then circle. And unfortunately, that looks like a long neck. Unfortunately, in 1908, somebody named Freeland Nair decided they were going to carve. These rocks, there's some all over them. And then this one up here has some. There's the top. So this is the sandstone that they were using. Here's some. As you can see, that's sandstone. And they use it and make bowls and grinders and stuff out of them. So you'd have, let's see, if I can do this. This one's kind of shaped like one. You'd be going like this, and they do that. Grind, what have you. And another one here. We shall call that Crazy Man with Snake like mustache. So we've been getting a lot of rain here in Arizona this year, and because of that, there's been a lot of wildflowers out blooming in the desert, which isn't when I've come down here, it's not something I always see. Let's see, there's one. There's little yellow ones and white ones all over the place. But it's interesting, as dry as the desert can be, just any bit of little rain will sprout those seeds that have been sitting for, years. Got more here. Looks like somebody dancing there. But there's one there on that rock on the top. Maybe a snake. All right. I think this is a lizard. Not sure. Then we got a snake, and we believe that's a turtle, and then a person, a man or something. And then we'll go over here. Oh, this has a bunch of stuff on it. Have no clue. It's up to your interpretation. I'll go check these rocks out. Looks like maybe a sun up there on top. And I'm not sure what this is. On that one up there. I went up higher and didn't see any, so it looks like they're all down lower. They're the Indians are kind of like we are. They don't like climbing rocks either. But, and all the petroglyphs are facing the river. There's none on the backside, or on the majority of these backsides of these boulders. So my guess is, pretty sure that the Indians would follow the rivers. That's where the food was, that's where the shelter would be. As you can see, there's a lot of vegetation down in there. So they would follow the rivers, and they would my guess is the reason that the petroglyphs are only on the riverside, facing the rivers, so that they could see that and be able to tell or know where they're at. As many of you may know, Indians are big into storytelling, so there's always stories about coyotes and, Indian princesses and stuff, and snakes, and there's always stories. And my guess is their stories also tie into their petroglyphs, their hieroglyphs on the rocks. So none of these are painted. These are all carved in that I've seen. I haven't seen any painted here. Down the road another 30 miles there's a place called Painted Rock, and apparently that's got mostly painted hieroglyphs, petroglyphs, whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to go this way a little further, take a look at stuff, see if I see any more. So there's the railroad bridge across the Gila River floodplain there. And we'll go this way a little bit and then walk back. Alright, I'm going to show you a little bit of geology here in the sandstone. The reason why the Indians were using it for their mortars and their bowls and stuff for grinding and stuff. Well, it's malleable, and what that means is it's easy to work with, and so they can form it into whatever shapes they need in containers. And as you can see here, this isn't from Indians, this is from years and years of weathering. But what happens is you'll get a little spot like this right here, this little hole. You'll get a little divot, and what happens is the sand will be in there, or a pebble, and the wind will come through and start making that pebble go around circles and circles and circles. Now all it takes is a little pebble to make these holes, and of course a little bit of rain will help and stuff, but that's the reason why they preferred sandstone. As you can see, I can't get this one off. It's easy to work with. They can take another rock and grind at it. But sand, you can see there's quartz in here. little bitty pieces of rock. So that's why they use the native tribes that used this spot, is because of all the sandstone, and it was easy to get to, and it was a neutral site for all the tribes. There were no fights over it. There was an agreement. So looks like we got some red sandstone down there. We'll head down there in a little bit. So I'll bring you back. So we made it down here, and as you can see, there's the top of the Antelope Hill. Well, we made it down here and a little spot of red sandstone. And I'm sure they used it just as much as they used the regular gray sandstone. It's pretty stuff. Another thing you'll see, oh, look at that. It's cut. We'll go over there and look at that. You'll see rocks out here in the Arizona desert, especially out by Yuma. They're this color. It's a dark brown, and it's a glaze, and it's a glaze that the sun bakes on it. And it takes hundreds of years to get that on there, and a lot of those places are protected because you get vehicles out there, it starts tearing that off. All those holes. Yep. Haven't seen any lizards. So one of the questions some people have is snakes. You worry about snakes. Well, sometimes. I mean, you don't want to ever stick your hands or feet in places that they might be, but it's about 60 degrees today. And when I'm hiking in the desert out here in Arizona, I don't worry about snakes until I start seeing lizards. If the lizards are out, I know the snakes are probably out. And I haven't seen any lizards today. And, you know, you always look for those things. Oh, there's some coyote tracks. You always look for those things. The sign tells of what you're going to be expecting out in the desert or in the woods or what have you. Oops, sorry. So you're looking for, the reason I look for lizards is because a lizard's a cold-blooded, it's a reptile just like a snake. And so if a lizards are out, more than likely the snakes aren't far behind them. They'll be coming out of their dens. But yeah, I haven't seen any. So I'm not too worried about them today. That's kind of a telltale when you're in bear country, you know. Kind of the same thing, you know. Oh, there's a anthill. In bear country, up in Oregon and Washington, Idaho, Montana, all that, when we're up there hiking, I am more wary in the areas that I know there's huckleberries and they're ripe. If the huckleberries are ripe, most likely the bears are there. You know, if you're... So you kind of keep those things in mind. So this is, oh, there's some more ants. This is called Antelope Hill. It's a artifact site, archaeology site here in Arizona. And it's right off of Highway 8, Interstate 8, between basically Phoenix and Yuma, Arizona. You take the exit at exit 37 and go north. And on the other side of the butte there's a big A, and that's where you're going to be. You're going to be on the north side if you ever want to come and take a look at the Indian petroglyphs here. I'd like to thank everybody for subscribing to my channel and going on adventures with me. And there'll be some more Arizona hikes. I'm down here for 2 weeks, so yeah. Also, you can go to Twitter at Life on the Trail if you want to have any questions or anything to ask, and see my pictures at I put all my pictures on my Instagram at Life on the Trail. So yeah, if you could like, share, and subscribe, and we really appreciate you coming along with us.